Doing? Welcome everyone to the stream. Welcome. All right, let's get right into this. So hopefully, of course, it'll be looking good. Let's get to this. So we got a lot of things going on right now. Solar activity is getting absolutely intense right now. I told you that there was a specific sunspot region that had a pretty strong chance to have a solar flare. Well, that did happen, and we did get a pretty intense solar flare. X-class solar flare. The thing about this X-class solar flare, it is just no ordinary one. Because it actually lasted an intense, really strong, moderate to intense pressure for around 4 hours. And I'm going to be showing you about that. I also got to get into the Schumann resonance because, this thing is... Gotta mute that. This thing is no joke right now. So if you're feeling a bunch of symptoms right now, if you're feeling the physical symptoms, you're feeling the energy, you're feeling anything right now, I want you to know this live stream is going to cover exactly everything you're feeling. So let me know how's everybody doing. I'm super grateful and thankful for everyone being in here. Again, like I said, I'm going to live stream today and I'm going to be live streaming tomorrow. I'm planning out my video. I'm working on a big video, so Let me know how's everybody doing and where's everybody tuning in from. All right. We got ourselves our pin message for today. Let me know how is everyone doing. Let me know how's everybody doing. We got a lot of activity and a lot of things going on right now. So should we jump in with the sun or should we go into Schumann resonance? I have no idea here. Let's jump into the Schumann resonance real quick. So for the Schumann resonance, as you can see, we had this quite of an interesting anomaly here. And it's been going on, spanning for around, 2 days? This is insane. This is just stuff we don't normally see. Anytime we see anything like this, something strange happens. Of course, we have this dot over here. I'm going to break down more of the Schumann resonance, of course, because we got to get into this gigantic... We got to get into the... If I could get a better picture of this, right? We got to get into the elephant in the room here. And that is this on the sun right now. This is a monstrous size coronal hole, a very rare, gigantic sized coronal hole. Coming from that, of course, was a massive CME that is Earth directed. Now, this was a large CME, also known as a solar flare, and this was launched during the solar flare, and there is no doubt that it's Earth directed. Now, we can pretty much see a full halo outline. As the CME expands away from the sun, we do have to say that the bulk of ejecta is heading eastwards, but the clear halo signature does confirm that is Earth directed. All this massive plasma cloud is going to be arriving in Earth in probably the next in hours, 24 to probably 72 hours, I would assume. And this is a potential G3, G4 geomagnetic storm. So again, if you're someone who likes the auroras and whatnot, well, you're probably going to be seeing them more often. Or I wouldn't say more often, but it's definitely more common to see it. So this is obviously something pretty huge. Let's keep going. Let's back out of here. We have a S1 solar radiation storm. We got moderate solar wind speeds right now, but nothing too intense. I would say yesterday we had a G1 geomagnetic storm throughout a majority of the day, believe it or not. And as you can see, a monstrous sized coronal hole. We have a lot of active sunspot regions. Breaking down the solar flare right now. Let's really get close to this and let's just start zooming in. So it was an X 1.95. So an M is usually pretty strong, right? And you could get M5s, M7s. Those are really intense. X is very intense, right? And once you get to the X10, that's when it's pretty chaotic, right? So in this situation, it happened around 17 military time. I'm gonna go 17 hours military time to let's actually gotta zoom this out real quick. This is long. Let's go last 6 hours. So as you can see, it went from here, which would be 17, and it just kept going. It just maintained at the M and X levels. So it was about 1 hour, 1740, 1750, right? 1750 to 18, almost 50. 1 hour in the X class level, which is intense. And from here all the way to here, I mean, it's like crazy. We got to zoom this out. 22 to 7, so almost 4 or 5 hours of moderate to intense activity. The fact that it lasted this long and it's earth directed is insane. So this is definitely something, you know, you're probably gonna want to buckle up for. But I think a lot of places are gonna have auroras. This is gonna be one crazy crazy period. Most solar flares are quick. They go up and down, just like this one went up. It lasted a little bit. This one was just really, really long. So, you know, this is definitely something you're going to have to look out for. This is truly intense. All right, let's get into sunspot regions right now. This is very red and it is intense. Actually, we got to find out, where did they come from, right? It came from 4341. So it actually has a 20% chance now for an X class, only a 35 for an M, which is kind of interesting. So this is a huge sunspot region right now. I think this is another region, so it's mainly primarily this one, this group. And let me tell you right now, this is a gigantic sunspot, and a 20% chance for an X class is pretty freaking wild if you ask me. So things are definitely intense right now. Welcome everyone to another live stream. Hope you guys are doing good. Let's take a look at the coronal holes. So here's the coronal hole right now on image 211, which really highlights the coronal holes even better. It's actually so large, my phone will barely even cover it. So this is a huge coronal hole, and believe it or not, it seems to be expanding more and more and chaining. So this is clearly a huge coronal hole, and it's getting larger and larger, which is quite crazy and scary, I guess. This was a trans-equatorial coronal hole that was facing us. So much plasma has really come to the Earth and has supercharged it. But of course, this part is growing more and more now. Every 12 hours, it is changing shape. So the sun right now is sending so much plasma towards the Earth right now. That could be causing auroras in some areas. We were in a G1 geomagnetic storm for a majority of the day, by the way, which is quite interesting. So a lot of plasma just bombarding the Earth right now. I hope everybody's doing good and feeling well. Things are definitely intense, and this is one coronal hole that just keeps on growing. So let's get into earthquakes, right? Like, what has really been happening? Let's give this a refresh. How's everybody doing in the stream, by the way? So let's take a look. All right. So believe it or not, we did have an earthquake in, how do I want to pronounce this? Petrolia or Etrolia or Petrolia or Parolia, California. A 4.2, so that's pretty strong. Right around here. Other than that, there's been a lot of earthquakes, and wow, a lot of earthquakes by Alaska. So very interesting. Let's zoom out. Let's get an idea of like what's going on. All right, let's shift to the Italian Schumann resonance. We got a lot of red lines, and lately, of course, we have quite a bit of red lines. It's been intense lately. It's been a lot of activity. I'm gonna go back to the Schumann resonance. As you can see on the hourly strip, it has been really intense. Just to let you guys know. And of course, looking at this, again, with this massive anomaly that's been spanning out for since the 17th, it's going all the way, that's 24 hours, that's around 30 hours or so, right? And you got some over here as well. Looks like it was about 30 hours of horizontal band activity that happened, and let me tell you, that is truly intense. That is definitely, that means something. It means something. It could mean anything. You know, some people say it's artificial, right? You're gonna have people saying that, again, it could be artificial. It could be man-made. It could be, again, it could just be the sun, the plasma, just charging up the magnetic field right now, and we could be having a weird anomaly. Whenever we have a gigantic sized coronal hole and all that plasma is coming to the sun, it correlates with geomagnetic activity. It correlates with many natural disasters on Earth. So if you're someone who's definitely, you know, if you're sensitive to this stuff, because some people are sensitive to this, and of course, again, if that is the case, I recommend grounding, meditation, relax, calm the nervous system down. And yes, people will see auroras. Some people will, you might not have any internet, might have tech issues. Usually any Starlink, any satellite-based internet or anything satellite-based usually doesn't work too well. Due to the fact that all that plasma is hitting the satellites and whatnot, it will cause some issues. So Starlink definitely tends to struggle. Overall, of course, it is just something unusual to have, to have all these lines. We've never seen so many lines before. When you look at the quality chart, we're talking about 300 plus hertz of energy on Q3. At least 130 on Q2 recently. So things have definitely been going pretty crazy, if you ask me. So yeah, I mean, we got the Schumann resonance, quite a strange, bizarre anomaly. The Italian Schumann resonance has been quite active, and of course, we got a decent sized earthquake in California. So there's a lot of things going on right now. An X-class solar flare. This is a huge, large X-class solar flare, and it is Earth directed. It lasted 4 hours, and the M and X between the two, it was a 1 hour. It lasted 1 hour in the X-class radius. I'm going to call it the X-class level, and it lasted 4 hours before it went down in M1, which is like the C level, because it goes CMX, and that's pretty crazy though, 4 hours, so it wasn't just the up and down. So this will be a very interesting geomagnetic storm that we'll be experiencing in the next 24 to 72 hours. Hopefully things don't get too intense, but by all means, this is really, really intense. So I'm sure many people are feeling it, and we got this gigantic sized corona hole. I don't think this gets enough. I don't think this gets talked about enough. This is so huge of a corona hole. Millions upon millions of Earths can literally fit in this corona hole. So to have a gigantic, having a gigantic spot like this on the sun is pretty wild. Normally we don't get them this size. We haven't really had them, but recently it's been quite common. So definitely some, pretty wild things happening right now with the sun. I hope everybody's doing good. I really appreciate everyone showing up to the stream, watching, and showing support. I'm really grateful for everyone. I really appreciate everyone. I am working on a practice for the nervous system. So if you're someone who's, you like nervous system stuff, you're interested in regulating it, I'm going to be doing at least a couple of breathing exercises that are really simple and can be done anywhere. So let me know how's everybody doing? How's everybody's day? We have a massive coronal hole that is facing us, and we have a large CME that is directed towards Earth. So I think there's going to be a bunch of auroras happening in like a lot of areas, especially if we get to a G4. I'm assuming many people will probably be seeing auroras, not gonna lie. So it's going to be really interesting. And I think a lot of people are going to be feeling, quite exhausted and feeling a lot of symptoms and whatnot. All right. I appreciate everybody who tuned into the stream. I'm going to be seeing you guys next time. I'm really thankful and grateful for everyone who watched. And I will see you all next time.